Welcome to On the Road with Bill Holub podcast.
Hello, this is Bill Holub from Steam Trap Survey, LLC. Today we're going to talk about unit heaters. And first, we'll introduce Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jessie Holub. I work with branding with Jessie. I do Steam Trap Survey LLC's media, including book edits, social media management and marketing, podcast production, and video editing, and more.
And I'm Bill. I do Steam Trap surveys and Air Leak surveys, so if you have any interest, give me a call. Today we're going to talk about unit heaters, and we're talking about space heaters. We're talking about area space heaters you might see in a warehouse, by a dock door. We're not talking about air handlers. We're not talking about big coils that heat massive areas. We're talking about just unit heaters, like a Modine, that type of a unit heater. Really, we're trying to get to several questions here that we need to answer. But one is the unit heater is designed to heat an area based on temperature rise. They're usually sized at starting with 60 degrees Fahrenheit, some sort of BTU rating. There's a steam trap on it if it's a steam heater. That's what we're talking about right now. So the steam trap has to be located one trap per unit heater. Preferably, I would like to see a float and thermostatic trap on that. That's where, when that heater turns on, that float can instantly respond to the load and then get rid of that condensate and heat your area up very efficiently.
Where should a steam trap be installed in relation to the unit heater?
Steam trap should be at the lowest point. Often I see steam traps up halfway up the unit heater, as far as on the condensate line side, where you're flooding your heater continuously. So it has to be at the lowest point so we can get good drainage. What happens when that is installed incorrectly? You get some carbonic acid corrosion on the coils.
Why is the carbonic acid bad?
Carbonic acid will start eating away. Carbonic acid happens when steam turns back into condensate. You get that carbonic acid eating away at the coils. The coils will start getting eroded. Mostly it gets damaged when you hear water hammer, because what you're doing is you're backing up condensate in a coil. Steam is trying to push it out. Condensate does not want to go uphill. Steam will force it uphill, cause water hammer, and then all of a sudden now you got carbonic acid combined with water hammer. Now you have coil leaks, unit heater coil leaks. Steam and water come out of that leak, and you have to replace the heater. So let's put the steam trap where it belongs, and it's at the lowest point.
How much steam do unit heaters radiate with the fan on versus the fan off?
Okay, so unit heaters have BTU ratings. And whatever the BTU rating is, when the fan is on, typically that's what you're getting out of that unit heater. So unit heaters are often operated with thermostats. So if you're trying to keep the area at 70 degrees, as soon as it hits 70 degrees, it's going to shut the fan off. And what happens then is your unit heater that has forced air going across the coils, the fan turns off. Now you have no air across the coils, turns into basically a radiator. So your condensate load goes from 100% down to 10%. That's what's going on with that type of fan. That's why we want to have a floating thermostatic trap installed on unit heaters, not because you're going from 100% to 10%, but when that fan turns on, you're going from 10% to 100%. So if you don't have a trap that is a continuous, immediately open type trap, you might back up condensate, cause water hammer, damage the coils. So recommended floating thermostatic traps on unit heaters.
Should unit heaters be shut off during the summer?
Unit heaters, you have two choices. You can leave them on all summer long, or you can turn them off during the summer to save energy. If you leave them on all summer long, which quite a few facilities do, just make sure that your steam traps are working prior to summer months, because you don't want to waste a lot of steam. In the summer months, the temperature is going to be above 70 or whatever you have your thermostat set at. So if you have a failed open trap on a unit heater during the summer months, you don't have much condensate blocking that steam. So you're going to have a lot of steam escaping through each trap. So just make sure your steam traps are operating before you decide to leave the unit heaters on during the summer months. If you decide to shut them off, the unit heaters off during the summer months, then you want to shut that valve, the isolation valve, the steam isolation valve to the heater. You want to also have an option, as this picture here shows, of a valve of some sort between the outlet of the unit heater and the steam trap, so you can drain that unit heater. However, as you know, isolation valves don't always shut 100%. So it will fill, that unit heater will fill up with condensate pretty quick. And therefore you have a unit heater that's full of condensate. Now what happens then is the carbonic acid is going to start corroding away that coil all summer long. And then you turn on the steam, then you have water hammer starting to bang it away, the condensate out of the unit heater, and you're going to have some steam leaks, condensate leaks in the coil. You're going to have to replace the unit heater over time, probably quicker than you normally would have if you just left the steam on all summer long. And I think that is it. So thank you very much, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you for joining us. Look forward to our next podcast.